Hello, I'm back. This is my second video, my first one for pre-surgery. My last video was the introduction. So I am trying to do this better. I wrote down a couple topics to go over, which I'm looking up right now on my phone. And I have some good news. Yesterday was my appointment with my surgeon to find out if I'm approved for next weekend. I am. So very excited. Yesterday was a very good day. So next Wednesday is the day. And it feels surreal. I'm really, really excited that we're going forward. My doctor was pretty cool about it, and I didn't meet his weight requirement, but it seemed like, I did lose an extra, not 10 pounds, but 8 pounds, so he was pleased with that, and he said keep up the good work, but, I have another couple of days, so I can go down a couple more pounds, but he was pleased, so, whew, a lot better than I thought. So a couple things that I wanted to talk about since we're going forward. The type of surgery that I've chosen is a sleeve gastrectomy, which is different from the gastric bypass. And the sleeve gastrectomy is different because there's no rerouting of the organs. Instead, the stomach is about 80% of the stomach is cut out completely, taken out of your body. And your leftover lining, stomach lining, is made into a pouch, and the pouch looks kind of like a banana, shaped like a banana. So that is very different than the gastric bypass. The bypass, of course, cuts the stomach off and then cuts the intestines and reconnects everything, but the stomach stays in, and you don't uh, you don't lose that part of your anatomy. Um, I chose the sleeve for a few reasons. One, I've heard the dumping syndrome that comes with the gastric bypass is really not happy. It's not a good thing, and I'm not looking forward to having that issue. So I decided to try to do away with that. And for the most part, with the gastric sleeve, you don't experience the dumping syndrome, which is, if you eat sugar or fat or something like that, you get really nauseous and you get the sweats and you feel like you're gonna die. It feels like somebody's sitting on your chest. I've heard all those kind of statements about it. So I didn't want to deal with that. And then while the gastric sleeve is permanent, you can't reverse it. It's permanent. You can still go in and do a gastric bypass because there's no rerouting of the organs. You still have the potential to go in and do a bypass operation on your anatomy. So I felt like, if there's a problem, if, for some reason the sleeve doesn't work, or if, let's say, God forbid, I gained weight again, which I don't plan on doing, but if that was the case, I could go back in and have a second surgery, and that would give me another chance. Whereas I feel like if you just did the bypass, you know, that's not the case. I mean, you could go back in and do another bypass, I guess, but once the bypass happens, there's no alternative. And while the bypass, I guess, technically is reversible, it's a difficult surgery to reverse. And so gastric sleeve, irreversible, but I mean, definitely because your stomach's gone, you can't really make that again. So a couple of reasons why I did that. Um, then the next thing on my list is the diet so far. Just, making sure that you're, you know, changing up what you're eating. You're going to learn really quickly, like the good things and the bad things and the calorie counting. I mentioned that last time. Um, the diet after surgery is definitely going to be interesting. The first week to 2 weeks is all liquid broth, apple juice cut with water, you know, more broth, ice chips, that kind of thing. And I think that after a few days, you can go into protein drinks and stuff like that, depending on how you feel. But it's a really slow process. And then after liquid, you go into, thicker liquid, maybe soups or pureed items. Then you start to progress into baby food and applesauce and that kind of consistency. And then from there, you go into soft foods like maybe bananas. Well, probably not bananas, but like soft chicken, something that's really like palatable, like to the point where you could chew it up so that it's the consistency of applesauce or something. Really, really soft foods. Stuff that's going to break down really easily. You have to chew your foods really well. I know for recovery, I have to sleep at a 30-degree angle, so that means not laying down in bed at all. And I think that's for like the GERD, which is the reflux stuff. So that doesn't happen. And just for healing purposes, I think. Um, so luckily, I have a recliner and I can recover in that. Um, so that's something to think about. Hope, I guess one of those adjustable beds would work too. Um, so the supplies that you need after surgery, it's going to be a lot of broth and a lot of applesauce and baby food and that kind of stuff. And you have to excuse me, my dog is trying to get my attention, so I'm going to pick her up. She's really tiny, so this is Gigi, and she needs attention, so I'm going to hold her. She'll just lay here. Um, so, no. So the other thing, there's a couple things that aren't so pretty that you might want to know about, and this is probably for some people TMI, so if you're, you know, got a queasy stomach or something, then don't listen. The first thing is with the protein drinks, when you first start, if you're only on liquid, it's going to clean you out. You're going to have I mean, at least for me, now everyone's different, but for me, it was severe, like constant diarrhea. And I don't know if that's part of like the process too, because you're only on liquid, you're losing the weight really quickly, that the diarrhea is happening. I don't know, but it was intense. And it was not like if you had the flu. It was more like this is coming from the depths of your soul type of diarrhea, like really different. Talking like really dark and really different, and just like like all at once kind of stuff. So when you're eating or drinking, you kind of want to be cognizant of the fact that where's the bathroom, and how kind of keep track of when you're going so that you know that you're going to be close to one. Um, Another couple of things, I've heard that after surgery you get gassy and sometimes constipated. So I'm definitely purchasing Beano because I don't want to have that issue as much as possible. So I've heard definitely you want to be prepared for constipation with either suppositories or because taking pills after surgery can be really tricky. So suppositories probably would work, and then also the Beano, so that you don't have gas issues. And then also after surgery, there's some people who lose their hair, which it depends on the person, and it's because of the rapid weight loss. So just be prepared for that. And my doctor said that it is hair loss, but it's usually to the point that you notice it, but other people won't. I don't know how it's going to work for me since I have locks, but hopefully it's not too drastic. And he said that if it happens, usually it happens until you balance out your weight. So we'll see how that goes. The next thing that I was going to talk about, or that I am going to talk about, is relationships. I'm currently going through a divorce, and that didn't stem necessarily from the weight issues. We had all kinds of other issues. So but having come from this place, from divorce into this area of my life, which is the surgery and bettering my health and that kind of thing, I decided that getting into a relationship now would be not such a good idea because I don't think I could walk someone else through this process with me. I'm figuring it out as I go. And dealing with somebody else who's going through this with me, I think would be really challenging. So I think that's one of those issues that each person would have to figure out on their own. But I just don't see how it would be an easy transition. And, maybe it's possible, but I plan on just giving it some time. And I mean, granted, if I met somebody now or soon after, I would take it as it comes. I wouldn't like push it away necessarily, but I'm definitely not looking for it because I just feel like right now I'm kind of, in limbo. Um, and I got a lot of baggage right now, you know. I mean, I have no idea what the future holds, and I'm going to go through a lot of changes. So I don't know how fair that would be to a new partner. Um, I'm going to stop this for a second and hope I can pick it back up. So if not, I'll start a new video. Thanks.